the dearest little thing. I wonder.
Yes, we're really grown-ups. Our parents were as small as we are, and our grandparents were even smaller. Yes, and I don't want to be kissed.
Yeah. What do you mean giving a free performance on the inside? Ladies and gentlemen, this is just a sample of what the little folks do on the inside. It's for a dime in there. A dime, 10 cents. A dime, 10 cents.
Let me down. Let me down. Yes, me too. Oh.
What do you mean by giving a free show out there on the street? If they want to see it, let them spend a dime for it.
Listen, we haven't been out of this duck for 2 weeks, and I want some fresh air. Yes, and I'm running out of cigars.
Well, that's my department. I'll take care of that.
I'm going to lose my temper and pop him one. And leave me a widow? Oh, no, you don't. I'll dry up. You're acting like a child.
I won't run from the storm. I arrive after it.
In the early days of American entertainment, before television, before streaming, there were performers who traveled from town to town, living their lives on stage. Among them, a brother and sister from New Jersey, who turned what made them different into what made them unforgettable. This is the story of George and Olive Brasno, forgotten stars of vaudeville, and the long road that led them from small-town New Jersey to the bright lights of Hollywood and back into obscurity. George and Olive Brasno were born into a working-class family in Old Bridge, growing up in nearby South River, a tight-knit industrial community. But from the very beginning, their lives would be different. Both George and Olive were born with dwarfism, a condition that in the early 20th century often led to isolation or worse, exploitation. At a time when society rarely made room for those who looked different, the Brasno siblings would have to carve their own path. And they did it only way they could, by stepping into the spotlight. By the 1930s, America was in the grip of the Great Depression, but entertainment still thrived, and vaudeville was king. George and Olive joined the world of traveling performers, becoming part of a unique act often billed alongside other entertainers. Their performances blended dance, comedy, and novelty, drawing crowds who were both curious and captivated. They were often billed as part of an act like Buster Shaver, Olive and George, a trio that toured across the country. Night after night, city after city, they performed in packed theaters, smoky halls, and makeshift stages. For many performers, vaudeville was a grind, but for the Brasnos, it was opportunity. They weren't just surviving, they were becoming stars. And as vaudeville began to fade and motion pictures took over, many performers were left behind. But George and Olive adapted. They made the leap to Hollywood. Olive Brasno, in particular, found success on screen. She appeared in films like Charlie Chan at the Circus, Little Miss Broadway starring Shirley Temple, and even the iconic Our Gang comedy shorts. These weren't starring roles, but they mattered, because at a time when people with dwarfism were rarely given space in mainstream film, Olive and George were there, visible and working, and building careers in an industry that wasn't built for them. And then came a moment that could have changed everything. Olive Brasno was reportedly offered a role as a Munchkin in The Wizard of Oz. She turned it down. Why? Because she was making more money on the road in vaudeville. Life as a traveling performer wasn't glamorous. It was constant movement. Long train rides, cheap hotels, uncertain pay. But for George and Olive, it was also freedom. They faced changes, social stigma, limited roles, and the pressure of always being seen as quote unquote different. They built the life together on the road, brother and sister, partners in performance, navigating a world that often didn't understand them. But they also found something rare: independence, respect from their peers, and an audience that kept coming back. By the 1940s and 1950s, vaudeville was gone. Television had taken over, theaters closed, audiences moved on, and like so many performers of their time, the Brasnos faded from the spotlight. There were no farewell tours, no final curtain calls, just a quiet return to ordinary life. George and Olive, once traveling stars, became names that fewer and fewer people remembered. And in the end, their journey led them back to where it all began, New Jersey. Olive Brasno would pass away in 1977. She was laid to rest here at St. Mary's Cemetery, not far from the towns where she first dreamed of performing. George Brasno's story is less documented, another reminder of how easily history can forget those who once stood in the spotlight. George and Olive Brasno were more than performers. They were pioneers in an industry that rarely gave them a chance. They turned curiosity into applause and difference into identity, and thought their names may be remembered by many today. Their story still lives on in the shadows of old theaters and in the quiet cemeteries of New Jersey. Thank you guys for watching again. I truly appreciate it. Please give me a like and a follow. Until next time.